before we get to a potential conference championship against the Milwaukee Bucks. If we keep the 3rd seed, which is seeming like that's what's going to happen, we're going to have to face the 6th seed. And right now, the 6th seed kind of battle is between the Brooklyn Nets, who seem to be getting kind of together after making a lot of trades before the deadline, which a lot of people thought they were kind of packing it in. They seem like to be gelling, and Mikal Bridges, every time he comes out and gets a 40-point performance, it's like, man, you think about what could have been. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. And then the Heat, who always seem to play us tough. Jimmy Butler likes to go against his old squad. Between those two teams, between the Nets and the Heat, who is the team that you're like, I'd rather play them in the first round of the playoffs if you had to choose one?
Man, y'all know I'm not big on choosing opponents. You play who you play.
Right.
I would probably say the Nets. Just the lack of time together in the playoffs. A lot of new guys. Mikal Bridges being their leading scorer. I think that's he's doing great, but I do think that getting in the playoffs and all of a sudden he getting all that attention that you would get it as the number one option would get in the playoffs would be different for him. I think you can, force him into being more of a jump shooter than attacking the rim. But they do have a lot of depth, a lot of young energy that can, be excited to play spoiler. You know what I'm saying? So I say the Nets, but I do not say it like it's a slam dunk. Miami, I think when they get into the postseason and it's a new season and having the confidence that they can beat us, that scares me. Yeah. So I would definitely say the Nets more so because of that.
I agree. I think the Nets also, not to say they take them lightly, because they also have a lot of fire when they face us. That Claxton, Embiid, that might be that. I'm just saying.
But the fire.
Remember what happened last time we played the Nets? I foresee a very similar.
I don't know, man. That's it, though. Claxton and Embiid, it's nothing else. It wasn't like it was at the beginning of the season. We talked about that. We talked about how that juice is not going to be the same juice as it was, dude. It's not.
But didn't the last time we played them, they almost fight? And we said they have to keep their emotions in check? Wasn't that the game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I agree. I don't. Yes, you're asking me if I'd rather face this Nets and Durant, Kyrie Nets? Yes, 100.
But it's not. Especially with Simmons out, it's not the same juice. It's not. It doesn't have that same power, man.
See, maybe Eric can talk about this. Even though they don't have some of the elements they had when we were really heightened, I think the rest of the guys there have kind of inherited that. Like Claxton, no Durant or not, or Kyrie or not, or Simmons or not, Claxton still has that thing. He kept it. Now he has a little chip on his shoulder against us now, right? And he had a good game against Embiid that time.
I think it's a lot of chirping that's going on ever since that trade was made. So I think it was a little banter and chirping kind of because of all of that. And I think that's kind of carried over into him maybe saying something to Joel. I think they kind of had a face-to-face or so. So I think it's that. And I do think that a lot of those guys are getting more opportunities. So –
and what scares me about them, too, they're playing so free. Like Miami's got – I'm more scared of Miami, but they have more pressure on them, right? Nets don't know what's going to happen this offseason. Half those guys can be packaged in deals. They're kind of playing with house money, which scares me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like they have some guys that can – whereas the thing that you want with them is that their lack of really having
continuity,
proven guys – being that number 1-2 option in the playoffs to carry a team and being together. A lot of those guys have played in the playoffs, but doing it together is lacking. But they do have some guys. They do have some length. They do have some guys that can score the basketball.
Yes.
They do have some guys that can make big plays. Like Spencer Dinwiddie can take over a game late in the game.
Yeah.
He's proven it.
He's been playing great.
And like I said, Bridges has been playing awesome, especially scoring the basketball. That's kind of the role that they've put on him. He's not asked to do a lot else. He's not getting rebounded a lot. He's not passing a lot, but he's scoring the basketball. Mm-hmm. So I think the roles are defined a little more. Cam Johnson shoots a three, and that's always tough when you have a bigger guy that can do it. So they're almost always playing with 4 guys that can shoot the three and a big rolling. You shoot the ball well, you give yourself a chance, and they're going to defend.
Mm-hmm. It actually reminds me of the Nets team we played in that series I was talking about.
And they got some
scoring.
And I think the thing about them is their length is underrated. I mean, Spencer is close to 6'4", 6'5", and you got Bridges, and then you got Finney Smith, and you got Cam Johnson.
Yep.
That is a lot of length out there on that perimeter. And then you come in with Curry and what's the other kid from Virginia? Shooter.
Joe Harris.
Joe Harris.
Yep.
You got the other young boy. If he comes in and gives you a little Vinny Johnson, if he gets hot,
yep.
They get the kid, and then the other guy I think that's for them is a little underrated. Is I can't think of his name. He came from Utah. Remember we were talking about us going after him
on the Nets. Oh yeah, Royce O'Neal. Yep,
Royce O'Neal. Yes. Yep.
And also Seth Curry, too. I don't know if we mentioned Seth.
Yeah, I say Curry.
Okay.
You know, bench Curry and Joe Harris, the shooters. So they got shooting. They have scoring. We should win the series, but wouldn't shock me if they won a game or two.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, one thing they did do, I know they traded Durant and they traded Kyrie, but they made sure to get a lot of 3-and-D guys. And as we talked about on the show, it's a premium to have in this league. And they got a lot of those types.
And that's without, not the 3 part, but that's without Simmons. Imagine if they had Simmons, that'd be another guy who can defend.
Yeah. Needs to get that back right.
You said 3-and-D, so you said Ben's not shooting a 3?
Yeah, it'd be like 0-and-D.
Ben could really help that team though if he's playing.
It'd be
even close to the Ben that we experienced. He could really help that team.
He could, yeah, he could. I thought he was gonna. He must really have a back issue, most likely. Now, I'm not gonna speculate.
So but stop talking about people's injuries.
When they no injury talk, no money talk. That when they made that trade, I actually thought he was going to work with it because all that Durant, Kyrie pressure gone, championship. He doesn't like pressure, so championship pressure is gone. It's like, okay, now I can actually just kind of man the floor and just kind of dictate this offense now. But you know what? Dude, Dinwiddie since March 1st, 17-10. So Dinwiddie's been turned into a legit point guard.
I think some of the issue is that those guys came in ready to play, and a lot of these guys weren't. Like they've been starters.
Yeah,
and so to come and you brought a bunch of starters in that wasn't option A, option B on their teams, but all starving for a bigger role, and they got it.
Yeah. Either way, I think you guys hit on it. It's playoffs. Nothing's gonna be easy, especially with a team that's as talented as these guys. So yeah. Remember last year, first round, everyone was picking Toronto against us. That most of ESPN's picks were Toronto over Philadelphia. So we've heard this stuff before. Even if we do play, Brooklyn.
We're not going to get picks to go past. I don't think it'll be many picks for the Nets, even though they. Scary team, but I don't think many people will pick them.
Yeah.
Be interesting. The second round, we will probably be on the not favorite to win side.
Yeah,
almost. But that's what happens when somebody play a full season and they end up with a better record.
Yeah,
you can't be surprised.
Yeah, but who knows? If Boston plays Miami, that could be a tough matchup for them as well. We might be facing Miami in the second round again, a rematch of last year. Who knows? Hopefully, maybe Miami takes care of business for us. Here's a little alley-oop for us. All right.
But at that point, if they do look amazing beating Boston, You don't think at least half the people out there are going to pick them over us?
That's the one thing about it. If they beat the team that people worry about, then you got to worry about them the same thing.
The one saving grace would be Miami's an older team, and if that goes 6 or 7 games, Lowry's legs are going to be jello at that point. So
true.
That's the one positive. So if it's a tough grind, then at least you have some tread on those tires,
Yeah.
or tread gone.